What's up guys, Blue Sun JRPGs here with the top 5 JRPG publishers of all time. Kicking this list off at number 5 is the legendary, now defunct publisher, Enix. Enix produced a bunch of great games from the early 80s up until its merger in the early 2000s. But the 4 games that it's probably best known for are Valkyrie Profile, Grandia, Star Ocean, and the Dragon Quest series. Many of these series still live on today with Square Enix. However, their quality has noticeably dropped off, especially with Star Ocean. However, Enix will always be remembered for its classics on the SNES and PlayStation 1. During this time, Enix was a real rival to Squaresoft, and they were seen as the main competitors in the industry. While I was thinking about putting Square and Enix together, I thought Enix deserved its own category. Because without Enix, the Japanese role-playing game genre would look completely different today, and they definitely have to go down as one of the greatest publishers in the history of video games. Taking the 4th spot on our list is of course Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco, unlike Enix, is actually still around today, and they seem to be getting even better with the recent release of Tales of Berseria. Tales is arguably the second most popular JRPG series, so if that's all that Bandai Namco produced, then that would be pretty good. However, they also have Ni no Kuni, which is an amazing RPG for the PS3 and upcoming one for the PS4, as well as legendary PS2 games Dot Hack and also Xenosaga. But in addition to these major games, they also produce a lot of smaller games as well, which I'd love to see. They also produce Sword Art Online, which is one of my favorite series, and then they go out and produce Digimon as well. So Bandai Namco has been really active in the recent years of RPGs, and I can definitely see them even moving up this list and becoming a top 3 publisher in the upcoming years. Number 3 is Working Designs. Working Designs could have easily been the top spot. In my opinion, Working Designs has the highest quality of work. The problem with Working Designs, however, is that they just didn't produce enough stuff. What they did produce was amazing, but when you look at the other publishers, they were around for so much longer and produced so much more of it. Working Designs reached its pinnacle in the PlayStation 1, producing legendary JRPGs Lunar Eternal Blue, Lunar the Silver Star Story, in my opinion the greatest JRPG of all time, as well as Arc the Lad, Alundra, and Vanguard Bandits. Now that's a lineup that I don't think anybody could compete with in that time period. Even Square, even Enix, anybody you want, I don't think anybody during that time period was able to compete with that lineup of games. The problem with this publisher is they only produced a few games to the PS2, and then after that, unfortunately, they ultimately met their demise and went under. Number 2 is Square Enix. For the purpose of this list, I'm going to include everything that Square did before, as well as everything after, all under the umbrella of Square Enix. So where to begin with Square Enix? No publisher, maybe even no 2 publishers combined, has produced the sheer amount of great RPGs as Square Enix has. They've produced so many. If I looked through my library right now, I would be stunned just to see how many games were developed by Square. It really is unbelievable. So hats off to them. Square's greatest accomplishment has been the production of the Final Fantasy series. Definitely the largest JRPG series of all time. If Final Fantasy wasn't enough, just picture Chrono Trigger, what many people consider the greatest RPG of all time. Kingdom Hearts, Xenogears, the list goes on and on. Even Super Mario RPG, Secrets of Mana. So many gamers have been introduced to the genre from Square, and I think that's why a lot of people fell in love with this genre, because every time they played a Square game, they were most likely going to get high quality. And if they got one of the early Final Fantasies or Chrono Trigger, then that's exactly what they got. With Square at number 2, that could only leave one option for number 1. And of course, that is Atlus. While Square definitely has produced more games than Atlus, I think the overall quality of the Atlus game is much higher than Square. Some Square games you get will actually be poor games. Look for example, Star Ocean 5. That game was very disappointing to a lot of people. I haven't even played it because I've heard such bad reviews. But Atlus When you see Atlus on that title, you know it's going to be a quality game, and that goes a long way. Obviously, Atlus's biggest series is definitely Shin Megami Tensei Persona. But Atlus is far more than just Persona as many people think. Just look at Thousand Arms, Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga, Ogre Battle, Odin Sphere. There's been so many great games. Such a wide variety of games too. Look at a game like Rhapsody, a musical adventure. There's nothing like that on the system. And that's what makes Atlus, in my opinion, as the greatest publisher of all time. Just because of their range, just because every time you pick up an Atlus game, you know it's going to be quality. And you cannot stake that high enough. That cannot be ranked high enough. Massive shout out to you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Other publishers who were pretty good as well, that could have easily made the list, are definitely NIS. NIS has some awesome games, and they're definitely coming up on the list. They could easily be top 5 someday. And then Sony Studios and Sega. Sega's actually produced some really good RPGs recently.